Hello everyone, and welcome back to Farmer Joe Homesteading. This week has been busy with turkey poults, baby geese, baby chicks, and some new bunnies. Make sure you stick around and join us for another fun farm update. Well guys, last week we had some bleeding coming from Big Mama, and we're about 99% sure that she has miscarried her pregnancy. So we are now waiting to see if she will come back into heat. They typically come back in at the 21-day mark because Mama was so consistent coming back in. I'm fairly confident she's gonna come back in to heat. At that 21-day mark, there is still a slim chance that there might have been bleeding because she might have slipped one of her babies, or something like that if she had twins, or she had triplets last year. So I have read that sometimes a little bit of blood early on happens, but then they'll still have a kid or two on time like they should have. So if she doesn't come back into heat, then I know that she probably is still carrying. But if she does not come back, or if she does come back into heat, then we'll just rebreed her to Buddy. If she does come in, I think that will put her at like mid to end of September, which obviously is a lot later than we had intended for Big Mama, but at that point I am still okay to rebreed her, because that means that she'll just be our winter milker, which was kind of the plan all along. And depending on how I like doing September babies, I might continue doing that. Buddy is a September baby. Buddy was born in October, so I might keep her on the September schedule, just because I love milking her. She's so easy and fast to milk out, and it just I'd rather milk her in minus 30 than anybody else. So I'm hopeful that she is still bred, but I know that there's a very slim chance that she is. So we're just gonna have to wait it out and see what happens for Big Mama. So with Big Mama being in a dry up phase now, I skipped a day because we were only milking in the mornings. The next step is to skip a day. And so we skipped yesterday, milked her out this morning. She was quite full, but it wasn't too bad, and I feel absolutely awful when I do that. As a mother who breastfed for many years, it makes me very upset to dry them off and skip, because I know what that feels like when you're over full. But she took it like a champ, and I'm trying to remember that, like, right now, even though she's giving us plenty of milk for the stage of lactation she's in, when she's in her peak lactation, she gives us just over a gallon a day. And this morning, after 2 days, we got just under 2 quarts. So her bag can hold a lot of milk, and it wasn't as uncomfortable as I had thought it would be. So I'm feeling a little bit better about it. She's doing really well. So we're gonna keep up with this dry off with Mama and see if we can get her dried up before her next heat, if the next heat comes. Hey, you brat. So Buddy got in a fight, I'm assuming with Big Mama, because she had some bruising on her head, and got a fat lip and some blood. So the side of his face looks kind of yucky right now because it had been bleeding and foamy out the side of his mouth for a couple days, but it never slowed him down. He still just eats and eats and eats, obviously. He's growing really nice. I'm actually really happy with his growth. Buddy's coming up on 6 months and he's already almost as tall as our other girls, so I think he's gonna be a real handsome boy come fall. Now the girls, Luna still hasn't come back into heat, haven't had any signs or anything from her. So I'm really hoping that she is still bred. No, Luna is that one. She is looking a little thin, so I did test their eyelids to check for worms and didn't really notice anything. So she's the one that doesn't really care for the grain and things. So I'm not too worried because she eats when she wants to, and so we'll just keep an eye on worms. And then Miss Star there beside her, I brought her in yesterday and everybody got their feet trimmed, and I had a look at her bag a little bit better, and I actually trimmed some of the hair around her bag to make it easier. I brought the clippers out, and I'm still not convinced that she's due. There is a chance that she bred to little Buddy here when we first brought him home, and that would put her at like end of June, beginning of July, I believe. I need to check the date, but she definitely looks bred. She's definitely not cycling, but she's just not bagging up. Like you can see her teats are full, and I can actually express milk out of them, so I know that there's milk forming and developing, but still just not a bag at all. It is possible for her to still kid the end of May, and she might just start bagging up later, but last year she was the first to kid, and she bagged up like a good 8 weeks before, and that's pretty normal for first fresheners. So I mean, she could still in the next couple weeks here just really bag up, but I'm not convinced with her belly size either. Like they were a lot bigger last year, and even Luna, who had a single, was bigger than what she is. So I'm not really sure what to think at this point, and we're just gonna keep riding it out. As a precaution for Star, I have been regularly checking her ligaments because I just don't trust her bag. So I've been checking her ligaments, and there's no progress there. They're the same, but at least if I'm feeling now, then I'll know when they have the change. So we've been checking that as well to hopefully let us know when she decides to kid. Is it nap time for Miss Livy? Are you having a little snooze? No buns under there. Are you plugging the hole? Are you keeping them all in? There's some. Hey, babies. Hi. How are you? Good morning. Hey, hello. How's he going? Hi, you little rotter. I have honestly never had bunnies this tame. Like to have them like come right up and stay there when you open. The last batch we had last summer, when you'd open the hutch door, they'd all run and scramble and try to get away from you, and these guys are like, oh hey. So it's been so fun. And even though when you do reach your head in there to try and get them, they kind of all scramble like popcorn, they don't run nearly as fast and diligently to get away. And once you've got them, like, just the sweetest. Really loving this litter, and only a couple more weeks till we can sex them and be a little bit higher on the accuracy for sexing. So I'm really excited. They're about a month old now, and they're looking pretty good for a month old. Like, they all have nice long backs and pretty good hips on them. So I think they're gonna be excellent breeding stock, but also great bunnies for the soup pot. So I actually do want to keep 2 does out of this litter. I really want to save some more does from our own, and her litter is just exceptional. She has proven to me in this litter that she's going to be an excellent mom, and her bunnies are definitely looking really good. So once we know who's who and what's what, I'll definitely be picking my top 2 favorite females and the ones with the nicest conformation, and those 2 will be staying with us. Twilight has been absolutely nothing with trouble, so I would actually like to replace her with another doe. Now, I cleaned these last week, and she completely threw all of her straw all over, and even the straw that was in the top she threw down there. And she constantly throws her water bottle off the cage, and she chews this feeder, and she threw her other feeder down the stairs, which is a regular occurrence for Miss Twilight. So Miss Twilight will be getting rehomed probably at the end of the year. I'm gonna have to keep her and breed her just for eating bunnies until I have a replacement that's old enough to take over. So we're gonna tough it out with Twilight for the year, but she's the only one that bites me, and she constantly is just ravishing everything. She always acts starving no matter how many pellets I give her, and I try to keep her on a strict ration of the quarter cup morning, quarter cup night, which is what they're supposed to get. And if I give her hay in her feeder, which I try to do regularly, she throws it all out and makes a huge mess. So I do try to give her the hay because it gives her something else to do, but even today I gave her the hay to try and keep her busy, and she trashed things. So she's just a very, very destructive, angry bunny, and she has a lot of space. She has the same amount of space as everybody else. She's the only one that's this cranky and ornery, so I'd like to find a bunny with a better temperament. Hello, Miss Mama. How's my Amber today? Hey, beautiful. Hi. How are you? Well, guys, it finally happened. If you have been following along on our channel for a while, you know that we have been trying to get a litter of babies out of my beautiful Amber doe here for 4 months. And yesterday, it finally happened. I'd been keeping a really close eye on her because it was day 32. I'd never had a doe go over the 31, so I was very anxious, but she was very big, very uncomfortable, and I knew that it would have to be any time, but she hadn't made any nest. There was no hair pulling or anything, so I was quite nervous. I came out at around 5 o'clock yesterday to check on her and actually caught her having her kits. So I did get some filming of it. You're not really able to see anything other than her licking, and you can occasionally see her do a little jump, and you can see her back leg move, and then she resumes licking, and that is when the babies are born. She pushes them out and then is licking them clean. So she did an amazing job. We have 7 healthy, happy babies. Today I went out and I checked them all. Yesterday, after having the babies, she left them in just this kind of pile. And then about an hour later, after she'd had them and had a chance to kind of recover and clean herself, have a drink, have something to eat, I made sure I filled her water and feeder when she was having them. And then she was able to build a nest, a proper nest for them, relocated them all to a nice, safe nest in the corner of her nest box area, and tucked them all in for the night. So she's done amazing. This morning when I did the head count, I could tell that they all had full bellies. Nobody looked skinny or emaciated, so we'll keep an eye on that and make sure she's still feeding them. But so far, she's been a really, really nice mama. So I couldn't handle it having my girls in that small coop. I don't like it when my chickens don't have good daylight and not good access to outdoors and fresh air. So I moved the Opal crew to my greenhouse, which is going amazing. They are working and digging in the dirt. It's gonna be so nice when it comes time to plant in here. So they're doing an awesome job. Not only that, I was getting 2, maybe 3 eggs a day from them when they were locked up. 4, and 1 was in the dirt. 5 eggs out of 6 hens, just moving them to a spot with better daylight and good fresh air. The leg bar flock has been needing a little cleanup, so I've been slowly working at it as time permits, and at least got it down to this layer. So they actually scratch and pick through it, which makes it a lot easier to shovel out. So the plan is for the next couple days, finish cleaning this out, put fresh bedding in, and then take all the old sheets off and replace them so that this whole coop is nice and fresh and new. And then I need to get the bags off of the windows so that they have a little bit more daylight in here. These girls have been laying the least out of everybody, and leg bars usually lay pretty good. The opals had, after I relocated them, they all were treated for mites. And these guys were also treated with mites because they were all together. And the opals have now resumed laying and have done really well, and they haven't. So I'm hoping cleaning up, freshening up their space, and adding more light in here is going to help increase those numbers. So we have 7 girls in here. We had 1 drop dead off of the roost the other day. I didn't end up cutting her open and doing some sort of autopsy on her, but I'm pretty sure she ate something she shouldn't have, because her comb was just off colored and her face was off colored, and that happens if they choke on something. And so it looked like she probably choked on something free ranging the day before and fell over dead, which is unfortunate, but it happens, and that is why we make new ones quite regularly. So I have new replacement hens growing up because things happen, especially with free range birds. This big pen of chicks with a turkey, 2 turkeys, and 2 goslings constantly is knocking over the water. So gonna have to find a different solution to this problem, because they always act like they're starving to death, or thirsty, I guess, because they constantly keep knocking the water over. So I have to come in here 3 times a day and make sure everybody gets a drink. But all we have left in this pen is our black copper Morans that we purchased to add some more genetics and some dark egg layers. And I have a couple escapee Danish brown leghorns in here, and then I also have some legbar roosters. Farmer Joe did get to take her goslings out for a little dip, and I can't wait to show you guys some footage from our very first puddle time this spring. Okay. I see. Alright guys, in here I have my my replacement olive eggers. I've got some back cross olive eggers, like that little guy there. And I've also got my Danish brown leghorns, like that one right here. So pretty good grow outs. I'm really happy with how they're doing. There's also some leg bar cockerels in here, and I have a golden craylay leg bar pullet in here as well that I kept back. So this is all of the chicks that will be staying and hanging out with us on the farm for the summer, and we'll keep all of the girls. The olive egger pullets have been laying more and more. We've got 3 girls laying now. I can't even begin to tell you how excited I am about it. Their eggs are absolutely amazing. So really happy with the outcome of our October pullet project, and so glad that I did it in October so that I can enjoy the eggs now in April. Oh, so handsome. Look at you. The girls think so too. Definitely. Oh, wow. You are so pretty. Well, in turkey news, we had another hen hatch out 7 poults, and they are doing absolutely amazing. If you didn't happen to catch our short, make sure you do. It is really adorable, and our little mama hen is doing fantastic. Also, since our last update, we have tried something new and bought some shipped turkey eggs from southern BC to hatch out to have our own really nice purebred Ridley Bronze from a breeder that is part of the conservation effort for the Ridley Bronze. So really excited to have those and to have some additional bloodlines from some really nice birds. In sad turkey news though, after getting that mama hen turkey safe and settled in the playhouse, I came out the next morning to check on everybody and do the chores, and had a dead turkey. It was our Sasha. She hatched out turkey poults for me a few times last year. It appears that the toms had been fighting while mating her, and she was crushed and cut in the process, which happens. I have heard it from other turkey breeders, and I'm definitely really sad to lose her. But luckily we have all these new eggs that we've put in and some new poults coming up. As for our black copper Morans, our adult ones, they are doing exceptional. Now, I only have a couple of them today, but I think yesterday we had like 7 or 8 black copper Morans eggs. They are doing really awesome. They're starting to really pick up, and we're getting some really beautiful colors. So very happy with our flocks right now. The cuckoos are always chaotic, ironic. So I didn't do any filming while I was in there because I'm just trying to get in there and get out. So I've been putting the egg eaters in there. So anybody that I suspect has been eating eggs gets kicked to the cuckoos because they're right next door and there's a door between them. So I've been putting some of the Americana hens in there that I think are egg eating, and it's making a difference. So I think it is them. They're not eating eggs though in there. And I actually have a very cranky, broody hen in that pen too, and I'm gonna have to decide what I'm gonna do with her, because I either separate her somewhere safer and give her eggs, or just not give her eggs and break her broodiness. I don't know what to do with her. She can't have them where she's at now because everybody lays where she is right now, and it's just not gonna work. So unless she finds a new spot, it's not a good idea. The chicks will most likely not hatch because everybody else lays there, and if the chicks do hatch, there's a risk of everybody killing them. So I need to decide what I'm gonna do with my little cuckoo hen that's decided to be very broody.
Hello. Are you still laying eggs? Are you? Please don't bite me. I'm sorry, sweet girl. I'm sorry, sweet girl. You're doing so good. You are. You're doing so good. You're such a pretty girl. Be nice. Don't bite. Do you have eggs for me? I know you do. I'm sorry. Oh, you even got all the chicken eggs in there. Yeah, look at you.
Well, I think the last thing to update on would be the geese. And since they're far away and won't drown out my voice, I can tell you about it. We're still having fertility issues, lots of fertility issues. So today I was really careful at watching who he was breeding and who he wasn't. And so I separated some of the girls. Indigo has some really big bite marks on the back of her neck. And I watched him breed Violet 3 times in a row, like literally back to back. So I separated her, and then he bred Sunny and Emerald. I'm not sure if he bred Stella. So I know he's breeding the girls, or at least he thinks he is. So if we're still having fertility troubles after this, I'm going to have to conclude that there's probably something going on with him, because he's been breeding the girls back to back quite a lot. So he's breeding quite a bit in a day. And I'm concerned that if the girls are still wanting him to mate multiple times in a row in a day, that there could be some issues with him and he's not actually fertilizing anything. So we'll see how that goes. Keeping my fingers crossed, because obviously last year was fine. Like, I did get our fertility up in like the high 90s. So I'm really hoping that it all just goes well. But we'll see how it goes. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to our channel to never miss an update. We'll see you guys next time.
You ready to fly a kite?